Hello, welcome once again to Bafunde Academy, your tutor Joanna Kinyi. We are still discussing on acid, bases and salt, and this time we are going to discuss some of their properties, and we are going to start with electrical conductivity. So we are going to discuss electrical conductivity of weak and strong acids, weak and strong bases. Now, any substance that conducts electricity in aqueous state is called electrolytes. So in other words, we are saying both acids and bases are electrolytes because they can conduct electricity in aqueous state. Now, not only in aqueous state, but also in molten state. There are other substances that can only conduct electricity in molten state. Example is lead-2 chloride. We have lead-2 bromide. All those elements are called binary electrolyte. They can only conduct electricity in molten state, and so they are also electrolyte. Now, both acids and bases conduct electricity. They contain charged ions, a positive ion and a negative ion. And in electrical conductivity, the charged ions are the ones that move about to conduct electricity. We know that electrical conductivity requires two places. We have the anode and the cathode. And so having valence charges, anode for example, which is positively charged, will attract a negatively charged ion. And the cathode, which is negatively charged, will attract a positively charged ion. It is for this reason, therefore, that acids and bases can only conduct electricity because of the presence of the charged ions in their compound. And I think it is important to really understand that because electrical conductivity varies from one substance to the other. If we talk about metals, for example, metals conduct electricity because of the presence of the localized electron. But acid, because of the presence of charged ions. Some, it's because of the presence of mobile ions, which we shall discuss later when we do electrical conductivity in Form 4. Now, strong acids and strong bases alike conduct electricity a bit faster than weak acid and weak bases. And we are going to define why. Now, for an acid, if you look at the table, we have the anode and we also have the cathode, and then we have the solution that is to be tested. If, for example, in that solution we add HCl, HCl has positively charged ion, which is hydrogen, and negatively charged ion, which is chloride ion. Now, as mentioned earlier, hydrogen ion will go to the cathode, which is negative, and chlorine ion will go to the anode, which is positive. When this takes place, the bulb, if you put on the switch, the bulb will light. Now, depending on the type of electrolyte, the bulb will either light brightly or it will be dim, depending on the strength of this electrolyte. And that is what we are going to discuss further. Now, strong acid and bases dissociate fully, so they will form more ions. And the more the ions, the higher the electrical conductivity. In other words, we are trying to say that strong acid will yield many ions, and if you look at the bulb, it will be lighting more brightly because that acid is a strong acid. Weak acids, let's say ethanoic acid, will give few charged ions. And because it has few charged ions, the bulb will not light so brightly because it is a weak acid. That case, we can further define that there are weak electrolytes and there are strong electrolytes. And just like we said earlier that strong acids and strong bases form strong electrolyte, while weak bases and weak acid form weak electrolyte, depending on their electrical conductivity or depending on the number of charged ions that they produce. So that's all about electrolytes. So a strong electrolyte is that produces many charged ions, and so it conducts electricity faster than a weaker electrolyte. And because strong acids give many charged ions, they are strong electrolytes. Because strong bases give many charged ions, they are strong electrolytes. A weak electrolyte is that which have few charged ions. And for that case, they don't conduct electricity so fast. And so weak bases have few ions and they are weak electrolytes. And weak acids have few ions and they are also weak electrolytes. I think that is well understood. And so I will want to move on to something else.